the way I got into WCW was with Kevin Sullivan. We were over in Japan, and we got along good. And he said, "Brother, if I ever got any kind of a spot somewhere, man, I got you covered." And I said, "You don't have to do that." He says, "No, brother, I got you covered." And I found out, a couple of years later, he was the booker for WCW when they were going against WWF, and he brought me on. I mean, could have they gave me a better spot? Absolutely. Could have they had done me a whole lot more justice? Definitely. But it's all good. I'm blessed, like I said. You know what I mean? And I'm blessed. That's all I could say, John. I mean, I could have got a better spot. They could have, gave me a push or whatever. But they were really screwed up. I'm sure you know that.
Oh yeah.
WCW. You know what I mean? And so, there were guys there that, they had much more talent than me that were even getting overseen, if you know what I'm saying, and couldn't get a push because they were just so stuck on, the Hogan and the or the Nash and, the clicks. You know what I mean? 1, 2, 3 Kid and Scott Hall. They were their, Lex Luger and Savage and, they weren't thinking about the other talent. They wanted to keep running on the old guys rather than get the new guys in there and give them a push. But that's why they fell apart. But too many Chiefs and not enough Indians, I guess.
Were you under contract?
No, I was never under contract, and that's why I stopped going. You know what I mean? They kept sending me tickets. They sent me a ticket to wrestle Bill Goldberg again after I wrestled Bill Goldberg his second match ever. And what I mean by ever, Bill Goldberg never laced up a pair of boots before he wrestled Hugh Morris. Hugh Morris was Bill Goldberg's very first match ever. And when I mean ever, that was his very first match. It's not like he was on the road like everybody else, paying their dues. I drove from Rochester, New York to Prescott, Maine, which is a 20-hour ride, believe it or not, for $50. You know what I mean? Bill Goldberg never did that, not one time. God bless him. He was in the right place again at the right time because that's what, it's really all about. And God bless him. But, I was Bill Goldberg's second or third match, and so months down the line, they wanted me to wrestle Bill Goldberg on the Monday Nitro in Miami, Florida, and I said I can't make it. I got to work because I was working for the city, and my boss or my supervisor would allow me to go wrestle anytime because he was a big wrestling fan. Joe, anytime you got to go wrestle, don't worry about it. You got a job here. I said, okay, I appreciate it, Elmer. So, they sent me the ticket, John. They sent me the ticket, and I could see the ticket. They didn't even call me. They sent me the ticket, okay, because they took me for granted, if you understand what I'm saying. They sent me the ticket and said, okay, Miami. And I called them up. I said, I can't make it. I got to work. And so they said, okay, no problem. I sent the ticket back. The next Monday, they sent me another ticket to Louisiana, New Orleans. And I called him up. I said, you know what? Let me talk to JJ. And I talked to JJ, and I said, JJ, I'm not going to pull no punches. I'm not going to play around, waste your time or mine. I said, everybody's pretty much got some kind of a deal there other than me. I said, if you can't give me some kind of a deal, I'm just going to, not come anymore. And and this is at the time where they were having all kinds of fallouts. You know what I mean? They were falling apart at the seams. And, I just said, if you can't give me a deal, I just won't be back anymore. And he said, well, we'll give you a call. We'll let you know. And that was it. And I ended up doing a couple independents with Public Enemy. You know what I mean? Because they ended up leaving there and went to WWE. And actually, Russo called me, but I wasn't at home at the time. I was on the road. Russo called my house, and left a message because I guess they were going to bring me in to wrestle with what's his name, John Tenta, Earthquake. But then what happened with that, how that went south was the Giant, Big Show. He ended up leaving WCW to go to WWE. So they didn't need John Tenta or me at that time because, Big Show, he was only like 26, 27 years old. He was up and coming. You know what I mean? So, he got rid of Tenta, and I never ended up going there. And I just ended up staying at my city job.
I think a lot of people remember, though, for WCW, you and Luger having those matches, and then they kept teasing, would he be able to get you in the torture rack? Can he get you up? I think so many people remember that.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, that was on Facebook about, I'm going to say 2-3 weeks ago, John. It was on Facebook, that match. Oh, is he going to get him up? Is he not going to get him up? Oh, there's no way he could get him up. And I mean, there was, I don't know how many different people responded to the post.
Very memorable, though. Like, I still vividly remember that because obviously you're a big guy, but like, let's see how strong he is. Will he be able to do it? Very cool. Very memorable.
Yeah. He couldn't get me the first time. And then he was struggling the second time. I said, give it one more time. Give it one more time. You know what I mean? And we just timed it right, and he got me up there. You know what I mean? And how he dropped me, that was another comment on the post. Oh, man, he just dropped Roadblock like a sack of potatoes, didn't even care. And I felt at that point, I am a big guy. I was like 400 pounds.
Right.
And, for him to just get me off the shoulders, it was all good. I got to watch out for myself. As long as he didn't throw me, you know what I mean? He basically just lifted his arms and let me fall on my own, if you understand what I mean. It's not like he tried to hurt me, because then we would have, had a misunderstanding. Things wouldn't have been the same.
Did Hogan remember you from WWF when Hogan saw you?
Oh, yeah. Well, what happened was when I went to WCW, again, Randy Savage out to stick it in me. My first night there, when I was wrestling Luger, everybody was there because it was a Monday Nitro. And again, Savage is in the locker room, and he walked up to me, Block, hey, what's going on? Hey, Randy, how you doing? I'm not, trying to cause any problems with him. I didn't forget that he did what he did to me with Vince, but, I'm in the business. You don't want to burn any bridges if you don't have to. But anyways, he brought me over to Hogan, and he said, Hogan, you remember him? You remember how he jumped in the ring before you? And then Hogan said, Randy, why don't you stop with that? Cut it out now. Enough is enough.